All right. And now we're live. This time's real, though. Last time was a joke.
Yeah, we were faking it.
Yeah, exactly. So, damn, you did. Do you remember what episode you did before?
Well, I did episode 8, and then I did, I don't know, man. Whatever.
Somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, no, it was like right before your 2-year mark, maybe. So,
Okay.
In the hundreds or something.
Got it.
Yeah,
we're, I feel like it's a different experience now.
Yeah.
I look back on those early episodes and it's just like, man.
They were fun. The episode 8 was in my home gym.
Yeah, no, it was cool.
Yeah, we set up lights and for the video and stuff. Yeah.
And that was parenting with autism, or I forget what we called it, but that was what that episode was about.
Yeah, it's just about parenting and about like my struggle through figuring out who I am as a dad, and then realizing that like I had to go overboard on my own personal health and wellness so that I could be a good dad and stay married and all that stuff. And
which is interesting how, like, shouldn't that just be understood? Like, if you want to be the best parent possible, you have to take care of yourself. You have to excel. You have to push yourself. You have to face adversity, all the stuff that we always talk about, right?
It's absolutely amazing to me that people, so the one of the things, speaking from experience and speaking from a place where I'm watching other people do it, you get a diagnosis like that for your child, or you realize that your child's not making these milestones and different things, you go headlong into figuring out how to help your child.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people do that. And a lot of people go overboard, and they're pretty selfless when they do that, which is great because child needs help, right? But what happens is people completely forget about their own health and well-being, and then they get burned out, they get exhausted, they get overwhelmed, they get depressed, and then they become the person they were trying not to be, or I guess they're going the other way with their own health and wellness, so that they end up not being the person that they want to be for their child, not being able to find those solutions because they're stuck in depression, not being able to be active with their kid at the park because they don't feel good or they're exhausted or whatever. And so, yeah.
It's like selfless to your own detriment, you know? And
It is.
And the thing is, it's like, I mean, I talk about it on the show all the time. You can't be good for others unless you're good with your own self first, period.
Yeah.
You know, and to think otherwise is you're kind of telling yourself a lie. So,
And it's hard to watch because I've been in both places.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in a place where I was really trying to help my son, and to the point where it's all we did, and I forgot about myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized I wasn't helping anybody when I was in a bad place, right? And it's just hard to watch. And then you see people who have caught on, and they're fighting for themselves while they're fighting for their kids. And those are the people that find success in parenting, success in their marriage, and inevitably their child flourishes because they're actually taking time away to focus on themselves, taking time away to spend time with their partner or spouse.
Dude, and I think it's a perfect segue into what we want to do today.
Yeah.
Because you've completed the 75 hard program. You completed a couple phases too, right?
I did phase 1. I haven't done phase 2 yet.
Okay. So phase 3 is still far enough away that you don't have to be dreading it.
We could talk about phase 3 a little bit, why I'm freaked out about it.
Yeah, Chad has done 75 hard. Did you do it with your sister at the same time, or you guys just both have done it? I don't remember if it was like a team thing or not.
No, Ange did it before I did, and I'd watched her do it and was kind of intrigued by it. I'd listened to a little bit of Andy Frisella explain it. I never thought that, I mean, it was something that I needed to do until I had, I took my family to Las Vegas end of last September, and we had an absolute blast running around, but it was a total one of those gluttonous weekends where you just like eat anything, don't really exercise except for the playing in the pool. And had too many adult beverages, and next thing you know, you come home, and the next morning I got up, and I don't walk. That's like not my jam, right? So I get up and I
it wasn't your jam.
Yeah, we'll get into that. I get up and I just like, oh man, I gotta come correct on some. It's just a horrible weekend. So it
was like one of those multiple day hangover feelings.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't really get hungover, but I just felt gross.
Okay, and, I think that's what a hangover is.
But it was not just like in my body, but like, dude,
your spirit.
I just wasted a bunch of like I could have been better, right? And so I went for a walk. And I came back and I just popped my phone into a little suction cup holder on my whiteboard in my gym. And I just snapped a shot of my upper body. And I just looked at it for a second. And I was like, dude, you can do way better, man. Not that looks is what we're going for with 75 hard, but I just looked at myself after, and let's be honest, dude, I've been serious about health and wellness and fitness for a few years, several years. So this isn't just a new thing where I just woke up, I'm like, you're a fat turd.
Uh-huh.
Like you gotta do something. I was, extremely active and I think I was fairly fit. But I looked at myself in the picture that I took and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do 75 hard. And I looked through the all the stuff, and you can explain what all the tasks you got to do on a daily basis. But I was like, all right, I just went for a 45-minute walk. I just took a selfie, which is one of the things. And I'm like,
this is day one.
I just told myself this is day one. I literally didn't plan it, dude. I just it happened that morning, and I was like, all right, I'm going for it. And I don't remember if I told my sister, because my sister's obviously, she's like hardcore into it, the Live Hard program.
Yeah.
And I think I might have waited a day or two before I said anything to her. And she freaked out and was like, yeah, go. And so,
dude.
And then I did phase one. So that was early October through mid-December.
Okay.
Last year. And then I did phase one in, I don't know, March or April. It's phase one's 30 days. And so
each follow-on phase is 30, correct?
Yeah. And then the Complete Live Hard program is you do phase one, you can do it right away. Phase two, you have to wait, I think, you have to wait 30 days after phase one for the stuff from phase one to stick. And then you do phase two, which is just 75 hard again, but only 30 days.
I see.
And then phase three, you can do right away. And it adds more elements. And then you have to do 75 hard again, all within that year.
Within 365 days.
Yeah,
okay.
That's the Live Hard program.
Oh boy. So I'm just getting started then. No, but it was cool because you're like, dude, we should do a 75 hard episode once you complete it.
Yeah.
And today for me is day 74.
Yeah.
So
we're just going to fake celebrate that.
Yeah. I'm not out of the woods yet. Right. But it would take, I shouldn't even say. Let's not do that. Yeah. In order to fail at this point, it would take something catastrophic. But, no, I think that I have got a lot of questions and feedback and people writing me asking what the program is, what the diet is, like what made you do it. Like tons of questions come in to 75 hard.
Right.
And a lot of those questions do come in for no other reason than the physical change that people see in me.
Yeah.
And like you said a minute ago, the don't look at 75 hard as a fitness program,
right?
Because that's not what Andy had in mind. It's a program to win across all different spectrums of life. It's a program to help you develop discipline, help you overcome adversity, and really to be an inconvenience in your life, because
Totally.
If everything's convenient, then you're not striving, you're not working hard, you're not trying, you're not being the best version of yourself. And so now that I'm almost done with it, dude, I feel all of these changes that, I've heard you talk about, I've heard Ange talk about it, I've heard Andy talk about it, but it's bigger than a physical change. I've been in ridiculous shape before at times in my life. But I honestly think right now might be some of the best shape I've ever been in.
Yeah.
But more importantly than the shape that I'm in, dude, it's my schedule. It's my routine. I'm up early. I'm on the street every morning. And for me, the interesting thing about the program is he doesn't set guidelines like this is your exercise, these are your meals, you need to go out, you need to do this, you need to do that. It's more just about dedicating certain amounts of time to certain tasks, and then you build the program that works for you.
Yeah.
And I did that, and now I'm to the point where like I'm afraid for it to end, because dude, I'm an all or nothing guy. I always have been. And come Tuesday morning, like, when you do a normal diet where it's like a 30-day challenge or whatever it is, and it's like, okay, on day 31, I can have a pizza. Mm-hmm. Like we talked about last night, you know, like the thought of that actually scares me. I'm on a trajectory now that I feel momentum, and I feel momentum being created in my life, not just in my fitness, but in all other aspects. And so it's like, if I have a pizza on Tuesday, I feel like all that is going to do is stifle that momentum.
Sure.
Well,
and I kind of, maybe you should ask Andy this question, but maybe the phases and, the whole Live Hard program was him saying, dude, I just got done 75 and I'm fighting the demons of like, God, there's pizza over there, man. Or, oh, I don't have to walk this morning. I don't have to do a second workout because I'm not on the program anymore. Uh-huh. And, I almost wonder if one of the reasons he built the phases and the whole program was like, okay, here's some time off, figure out what didn't stick, and then we're going to get back in it and we're going to keep working, because maybe he personally did that.
Yeah, I bet I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. Because, dude, everybody, like, I know in my own self, 100%, I do better when I have a schedule, when I have tasks I need to adhere to. Mm-hmm. Like, for me, discipline goes out the window when it's just, hey, what do you feel like doing today? But when I already have it preset, I already know this is what's expected, this is the standards, I excel in that. And I always have, even since I was like a young private. Like the Ranger Regiment, I always say it was physically hard, it was emotionally demanding, but it was pretty simple. Hey, this is how many pull-ups you have to do.
Yeah.
This is what time you wake up. You're going to run this many miles. And it's like, even though it was the tasks and the training and everything was difficult, the way that it was structured, there was no questions, there was no gray area. It's like, all right, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And dude, I thrived in that. But now I also don't want to be working for other men being told what to do. So in order to be able to have that discipline and thrive in that type of environment, it has to be self-imposed.
Right.
And so here I am now, day 74, and that discipline has been self-imposed, but as soon as it stops, I'm like, oh no. And so like for me, I'm not looking forward to having a pizza on Tuesday. Right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a few more opportunities in my diet. I'm going to expand it a little bit.
Sure.
I'm going to continue doing the 2-a-day workouts. I think I'm going to continue with everything. I'm 100% going to continue with the reading. I burned through 5 books, and it's almost like divine intervention. I swear that the books that I picked up were meant to be in my hand, because they have changed the trajectory. They've already caused me to do some things that I wouldn't have done.
Right.
And like one of the books was a gift from someone that just randomly showed up in the mail. That I was like, you know what? This book showed up and I'm almost done with the book I'm in. So let's do it. Another book I forgot. I was reading Cam Hanes' Endure, and I had like 20 pages left. I was almost done. And then I was flying to Virginia Beach and I forgot to pack it.
Oh.
And so I'm at the airport and I'm looking around like, okay, well, I'm at Hudson News. I need a book.
Right.
And I picked up that emotional intelligence book. I don't know if I posted about it a couple of times. I don't know if you saw that or not.
Yeah.
It was just sitting there on the newsstand. And I was like, I literally had like a minute to pick a book out. So the first one that was nonfiction, I was like, all right, let's go. And it was like $40-something because it was at the airport. But dude, what that book taught me, I would have paid double that.
Yeah.
And I'm realizing for the first time in my life, like I've done a lot of reading. I always go through phases where I enjoy reading and I hate reading. I enjoy reading and I hate reading.
Sure.
But every time that I go into a reading phase, it's usually like modern war stories. Mm-hmm. I love like The Hunt for Bin Laden and Zarqawi and all the stuff that was like my generation of warrior. But at the same time, those are cool and they do teach you things. But the self-help book, that's just a different thing.
Yeah.
You know, I've read The Compound Effect. I'm reading The Urban Monk right now. It's like books that are solely there to build you into a stronger human being.
Yeah.
I never want to stop that.
Yeah.
You know? So I think it's good before we go too much farther down the rabbit hole. I'm just going to read what it is.
Yeah.
So people understand exactly what the fuck these two guys are babbling about.
Right.
But yeah, the 75 Hard program created by Andy Frisella, who is, if you guys don't know, he owns the company First Form. He owns a lot more than First Form. He is an entrepreneur across a whole array of different areas of business. But although he was financially successful, he was doing good in the business realm. He got overweight. He got depressed. He didn't like who he saw in the mirror. And then he's like, as a leader, I need to be preaching what I practice.
Of a supplement company.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And it's like his whole thing is like personal excellence is what basically sets you free as a human being.
Yeah.
And so he developed this program, and it doesn't sound like anything earth shattering, and it goes right into, it's right with the compound effect, which I just read. It's the little steps towards the right direction every day.
Yeah.
That build the momentum over a long period of time. Right. So the program is you have to do 2 workouts a day. Each workout has to be 45 minutes minimum in length of time. And one workout has to be outside. And so, and Andy to this day, because I've become friends with him over the last couple of years, like he gets bombarded with, what about this?
Does this count?
Does that count? Yeah. Does this count? And so the rule is, if you have to ask if it counts, it doesn't count, because the guidelines are exceptionally easy to understand. And if you have to ask, does this or that count? You're obviously muddying the waters and trying to
cut corners.
Yeah. And you're trying to walk in a gray area. So it doesn't fucking count. So it's 2 workouts a day. One of those workouts has to be outside. And that doesn't mean in your garage. That doesn't mean under the overhang of, the corner of your house where the rain's not hitting you. It's part of it is to inconvenience you and expose you to the elements. So it doesn't matter where in the country you are, over a 75-day period, there should be some type of inclement weather. That's for Ange. But, and so then you also have to, the third thing is take a progress picture every day.
Right.
And I used to think that was kind of stupid, because there's always an ebb and flow to my fitness, but I've never looked at myself in the mirror. At least I didn't think so, and been like, yo, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What is that? You know? But now comparing where I've come so far, man, it's shocking how much you can change in 75 days. Then you have to read 10 pages of a nonfiction, some type of self-help book. I hate the word the phrase self-help though, because it's not like...
well, Andy calls it personal excellence.
Personal excellence. Okay. Yeah. That's a good way of putting it. Because it's not like it doesn't have to be some woo-woo weird self-healing, self-help. You walk into the self-help section of the bookstore and it can get kind of weird.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's just something to develop you as a human being, become better. Drink 1 gallon of water every day. And that's 1 gallon of water. Not coffee, not tea, not...
water with your protein shake.
Yeah, none of that stuff. That's water. And so like you can see here, I have my water and then I have my coffee next to it. And the coffee does not count towards your water.
Right.
And so... And bro, you actually have to learn to manage, because I used to drink a lot of coffee, and now it's just a volume thing. I can only, you know what I mean?
You can only pee so much in one day.
Yeah. And then it's follow a diet and 0 cheats, 0 deviations from that diet, and 0 alcohol consumption.
But that diet is the one that with the most flexibility because he doesn't outline the diet.
Yeah.
He just says, choose one. It's got to be better than what you're doing.
Yep.
It's got to be healthy and you can't deviate from it.
And, you know, I go back and forth on that a little bit because I think most people, if you were to go to almost any human being in the country and say, prepare me a super nutritious, healthy meal, not something you think will taste yummy, not something that you love. If you had to prepare me the healthiest meal possible, what would it look like? Mm-hmm. And I think most people would probably say, okay, it'd look like some protein and some vegetables. You know, like, I don't think anyone's going to come to the table with pizza and Coke.
Right.
You know? And so.
Except our government.
Yeah, but that's because they want you fat, weak, and stupid. Right. And we could go off on that for a whole other hour. But yeah, like I think most people understand the difference between what good nutrients are and shit nutrients are.
Right.
And so instead of Andy prescribing something, it's put good stuff, create a diet that's good nutrients based, that's good for you, and put that in your body and don't deviate from it at all.
Yeah.
And I think it was, I don't know if I was listening to him or someone else speak about it, but it's like, the thing is like on a program that is for personal development, not physical fitness, you can't prescribe a diet because if a triathlete wants to try this program and a bodybuilder wants to try this program, their macronutrients that they need to consume is night and day, you know? And so I think that's a good way of doing it. But at the same time, I'm wondering if there are people that take that as an opportunity to be like, oh, well, you know, I can sweeten stuff with honey instead of sugar because it's natural and that's part of my diet.
Yeah.
And so it's not a micromanagement program. Go figure out what works for you and then stick to it.
Right.
But for me, I just did beef, eggs, and apples. That's it.
Yeah, you win the award for the most extreme choices on the diet for 75 straight days.
Bro, it goes back to what I was saying. Like, if I have a set guideline for me, I can follow that.
Yeah.
If it's just, hey, eat, you know, if I said something like, well, I'm going to do paleo for the 75 days, or I'm going to do whole 30.
What a lot of people do.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and I'm not even knocking that stuff. I just know myself. Okay, on paleo, you can have a cake that's made out of almond flour and sweetened with honey. Let's go. Right. You know what I mean? Uh-huh. And for me, that kind of defeats what I was trying to achieve. And so, and then I also put a little whole cream in my coffee in the morning. Okay. A little more, one more fat source, you know? Right. And I went back and forth on that even because I was like, oh man.
Felt like you were cheating a little bit.
Well, I was like, dude, if I allow myself to do this, that's kind of that's a fail, right? And then I was like, but I was also losing tons of weight. So I started at 211 and I was down to like I want to say 183, 184.
Whoa.
Yeah, I got small fast. And that was one and Jenny was like, you need to eat more. Like, because I went so restrictive. Yeah. It was inconvenient because, dude, what am I going to do? Cook a steak every couple hours? Well, yes, that is what you need to do if that's your restrictions. Mm-hmm. And, I was just losing massive amounts of weight and I was getting too skinny. And so I upped all my foods and I said, I'm going to put a little heavy cream in my coffee to just have a fat source, like right when I wake up and start my day. And the weird thing is I'm back to like 196 now.
Oh, wow.
And so, and maybe it's just your body adapting over time. Like I did a big, oh shit, we're experiencing this massive change. I just started dropping all the weight. And then after a month, it's like, oh, this is what we do now. So we'll figure out how to make it work.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, it's been cool because, I mean, it was your nephew, Levi.
Yeah.
And who like
your adopted son.
Yeah, he's
Levi.
he's like a son to me. I love that kid. I'd tried 75 hard on 2 occasions and I failed both times. And one time was due to an illness and one time was due to an injury. And you can say whatever you want.
Right.
Am I making excuses? Probably. You know what I mean? Like, could I have figured out a way? But I didn't see myself giving it a third round. And then Levi, who's 18, was like, hey, I'm doing this summer. Do you want to do it with me? And how do you say no to that?
Yeah. It's funny because to the listeners, Levi, my sister, myself, and Greg are all on an accountability text string. And dude, you were probably 50, 60 days into 75 hard before I found out that it was actually Levi's idea. I thought it was yours.
Oh, really?
This whole time. I thought, hey, I want to do 75 hard. I'm going to grab one of my close homies that hasn't done it and challenge him to do it. I thought you went to Levi and were like, bro, your sister, your uncle, like it's time for us to do this. Or your mom, I meant.
Yeah.
That's my sister. It's time for us to do this. And that's what I thought. And when you said that earlier, and I don't know, a few weeks ago on our text string, I was like, whoa, this is Levi's idea.
Yeah.
Nice.
No, we were at Angie's house, and we were just talking about it, and it came up, and he goes, I want to do it. Are you in? And like, I said, when do you want to do it? And I'll tell you guys, if you're listening and you're considering, the when should be, I say, within 5 days.
Yeah.
Don't plan it out on the calendar and say, well, I got my brother's wedding and then I got Christmas, and then, because guess what? You then got something always.
Yeah.
Right? You can't take a 2.5 month block of time out of your year where you're not going to have something.
Right.
And I said, when do you want to do it, Levi? And I don't remember how far out we were, but he said, I'm starting on this date. And I shook his hand.
Yeah.
So it is done now. You know what I mean? Like, and some people, even Jenny was kind of like, dude, we have a vacation planned. We're going to Montana. And I said, I understand that, but I shook his hand.
Yeah.
And I'm doing this. And, it's strange. Like all my friends in Montana, who I love those people. Like we go there every year and it's a blast, but they're like, you're seriously not drinking this year? And I was like, I can't. Yeah. It's not that I'm not going, like I don't want to.
I'm not going to.
I said I was going to do this. I shook Levi's hand, and so it's done.
Yeah.
And man, like it's not that. I don't know if difficult's the right word, but once you just set it in stone and say this is what I'm doing for this amount of time, there's no more debate. There's no more like turmoil or debating with yourself internally. None of that. It's like, okay, this is what we're doing.
Side note, I could do a whole podcast with you about the times where I was on 75 hard and wasn't drinking and my friends around me were, and the shenanigans that like, I was like, dude, is it really this stupid? Would I participate in this?
Would this have been me if I wasn't on the program?
Do I let my homie say this kind of crap all the time? Like, what did you just say, man? And I'm like running clean and no alcohol, and yeah, it's funny though. You gotta deal with that, and your friends got to be okay with it. They've got to support you, or they're not your friends.
Exactly, dude. And like you are. I think it was Jim Rohn that said like you are the average of the 5 closest people in your life.
Yeah.
And so it's like, and I like partying, and I like marijuana. I like alcohol. Like I'm a human being. Like I like pizza, whatever. Yeah. Right. But when you keep a circle of people that hold themselves to a higher standard, you inevitably are going to hold yourself to a higher standard.
Sure.
There's no way around that.
Yeah.
And so like, I agreed to it, and then there was some traveling in there, and there was a vacation. I'll tell you right now, the hardest day for me was flying to Virginia Beach. Mm-hmm. I did the road trip to Montana, and then I took 2 trips via plane during the course of the program. And one of them was to Virginia Beach, and it was like a 5 a.m. flight or something crazy, and it's like, okay, well, what am I going to do? And I had an hour layover or 2-hour layover. And I think it was in, I don't even remember, maybe Chicago, but the terminal we were in was just a little separate terminal that you would have to take like a bus to.
Yeah.
Right. And it was like 7 gates, and they were in a circle. And I was like, okay, I got to get my indoor workout done. And so I walked like 25 laps or something in this little tiny indoor terminal, passing the same people 25 times.
Right.
And I'm not going to leave my suitcase unattended, because people freak out if you do that at the airport.
Right.
So yeah, like people, I could tell 10 laps into it, people are just like
what is wrong with
what is this guy doing? You
that
know?
guy is lost.
Bro, that's the weird thing about this is like, you know, I'll very regularly do stretching routines before I get on planes too.
Yeah.
That's kind of my thing. Like, let's do 10 minutes of just fucking yoga basically, because you're going to be cramped and you're going to be in this weird position and you get weird looks all the time.
Oh, totally. Oh, dude. So speaking of like not like planning, I did phase 1, which is only 30 days. And I literally was like, oh, I got nothing going on, no vacations, no trips planned for the next 30 days. I'm just going to do phase 1 right now. And right in the middle of it, I had an impromptu business trip to Kansas City where it was literally 24 hours, flew out. And I same flight crew on the way back. So it was like their turn
and burn.
Yeah. And I think I told this story on the podcast last time, but I was trying to do 30 Murphs in 30 days.
Yeah, you're nuts.
And so
bro.
I was like, I had to bring my weight vest with me. And it was just a carry-on, 24-hour deal, but it was a 25 extra pounds because I was carrying my vest. And of course, TSA is like, what the hell is this thing?
Is this a bulletproof vest? Yeah. Or are you going to try and overthrow the flight crew?
The hilarious part was it's super humid in Kansas City. And I was drenched. Like I took a shower in the thing when I did that Murph that day. That was the morning that I failed the 30 Murphs in 30 days. But I still did my workout for phase 1.
Yeah.
But I got through TSA and I'm like, the dude's like, is this your bag? I got to open it up. I'm like, understood.
Enjoy yourself.
And I go, sorry, bro. It's soaked and that's my sweat.
And it was like probably getting all crusty and white.
Yeah.
you know?
I had to wash the thing after that whole 30 Murph thing.
Yeah, bro. Like your desire to push yourself beyond what's even like reasonable. It's just you and your sis. Like you guys are wired the same like that. Well, 30 Murphs in 30 days.
So that was like
no, thank you, dude.
6 months ago. And I'm pretty sure I have permanent damage to both my elbows because of that.
Like, I don't know why I'm laughing at that. Maybe I'm laughing because it's like,
well, you know what? You got to laugh about it though. And, but it's just part of what we're talking about. It's part of this, personal excellence. And it's part of I think you have to go out and you have to experiment, you have to test yourself, and you have to figure out where your boundaries lie. And you have to figure out which of those boundaries you can nudge a little further.
For sure.
A little further.
Yeah.
And okay, 30 Murphs in 30 days as a 46-year-old man might not have been the smartest thing to do or try. But now I know that I can get 14 of them done
before you fizzle out.
Before I absolutely cuss out a Child's Play set in Kansas City. Because I literally, dude, I texted you in the middle of that and I'm like, bro, I'm crying big freaking crocodile tears right now because I am so dedicated to figuring out if I can do something, and I'm so dedicated to going beyond it and trying to get there that it was an emotional absolute dump. Like there was 2 people parked in a car. I might have told this.
Yeah, you told me this.
Yeah, and they're just watching me. Like there's not a car in the parking lot except these 2 people, and they're like 40 feet away from me as I'm watching me do this. And it's like, I don't know, 5:30 or 6 in the morning in Kansas City, and I'm pacing back and forth because my elbows are screaming at me. I literally can't even reach up and grab the bar anymore. And so I'm just cursing at the thing and walking back and forth, and my arms are flailing. And
they probably think you're high on meth.
Yeah.
Who's this guy wearing a vest?
Yeah. Why is he like
swearing at the swing set?
He's doing push-ups and then kicking a beauty bark at the stupid play structure. But yeah.
Yeah, bro, it's crazy. And that's why when I decided to do this, one thing that I set for myself, and I don't know if I've talked about this on the podcast before or not, but the expectations of the physical side of it were simply complete 2 workouts a day.
Yeah.
Period. And I didn't set the bar any higher than that. And my whole life when it comes to fitness, it's like I want a 400-pound bench. That was my thing for a while.
Yeah.
And I got to 395 and I never got to 400. And it's like, I was upset about that. Right. Or I want my 2 mile time to be this. I want measurable results. Right. For this one, I went the opposite. I said, I don't want measurable results when it comes to the fitness side of this. I just want to focus on consistency. So when I wake up and I hit the road in the morning, if I'm feeling super strong, I'll run.
Yeah.
If I'm feeling super tired, I'll walk slow. And they're both equal wins in my book because the win isn't my performance. The win is being out there and putting in the work. And I think that might be like a huge learning point for my journey because I've always been goal oriented. If you're goal oriented, I feel like you're looking at the end, as opposed to this approach is more like, hey, this is just the journey you're on.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And I guess it's different for everybody, you know?
Yeah. So this is a good segue into one of the questions that I have for you, or one of the things that I feel like we need to talk about is what 75 hard is not. Because everybody that's asked me about it that doesn't, hasn't done it or doesn't know, a tremendous amount about it, they've always said, hey, are you still on that diet thing? Hey, are you still on that fitness challenge?
Yeah.
And that's the thing that people see. They see us, doing these multiple workouts a day, and you challenge yourself to drink a gallon of water a day or whatever. And they think that it's some challenge or it's some thing where you're supposed to, you're trying to lose weight or you're doing that's not the intent of this. And that's what I feel like everybody listening needs to understand, is that this isn't some challenge. This isn't some diet program. This isn't some weight loss program. This is a personal development program. This is a discipline program. These are things that you do for 75 straight days. You can't, if you're successful and you take it seriously, you cannot come out the other end without lifestyle changes.
100%, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that, for me, my meal or my diet was during 75 hard was whole foods. I've pretty much stuck to whole foods since October last year because of that, because I feel so good. And I did lose weight. I lost that, kind of middle-aged flab around my belly. And the discipline of getting up and early and doing a bunch of tasks, it changed my outlook on the day, no matter what I had to do that day. And so I continue to do that to this day. I do a morning walk every morning, and I still challenge myself on those morning walks. I'm wearing my vest 9 out of 10 of them, and I'm doing push-ups 9 out of 10 of them. And and now my wife, she about halfway through 75 hard, she started walking with me, and now she's got her own vest.
Yeah.
So,
well, she's a beast too.
Yeah. But it's what 75 hard is not is a really key conversation for people that are curious, or people that have people in their life that are doing it, and those people need accountability. Your friend that's doing it is not looking to lose a bunch of weight or looking to have this. Your friend that's doing it is changing their lifestyle, and they're becoming a better person, and they're doing it through a bunch of different vessels. Diet's part of it. Yeah, physical fitness is part of it. But those are just the ingredients that make up this meal of personal excellence.
Yeah.
And drive and discipline and just lifestyle change.
Well, I mean, and I talk about on the show often, it's like developing your mind, body, and spirit. Mm-hmm. They're all intertwined.
Totally.
If you want mental fortitude, well, part of that is putting the physical body through massive amounts of adversity.
Yeah.
Period. And so you can't separate these things.
No, it's
all the same system.
Right. And when one begins to fail, the others fall.
Yeah.
And so if if you're getting up and reading and you're meditating and all these things, but you're not working out and you kind of slacking off in your diet, yeah, you might be doing great on the mental health stuff, but because you're not exercising, like there's stuff going on in your brain that's going to block your ability to be healthy mentally.
For sure.
And so they all three have to work in concert with one another.
You know, it's interesting. One of the some of the feedback that I get from people is like, bro, that's not good for you because you need rest days.
Right.
I'm sure you heard that too, right?
Everybody did.
Everybody says that. Bro, you need rest days. And no, you don't. Because here's the thing, just like I said a couple minutes ago, I'm not setting physical expectations on myself. Now, if I said I need to run 4 miles in under 30 minutes every single morning as part of my morning cardio, well, I might need a rest day because I'm setting a very demanding expectation.
Yeah.
But if I wake up and I feel like I need a rest day, I go on a slow walk.
Yeah.
You can always go on a slow walk.
Well, that's
period.
The thing. People think that like 2 45-minute workouts a day, you're crazy. No, it's not you're not going in and burning, 1,200 calories per workout. You're going in and you're waking up, like what you and I've done is get up early, do some reading, drink some water, go on a long walk, do meditation while you're out walking or whatever. And it counts as a workout. It counts your outdoor workouts done. And it's not, I know a guy that did basically 150 walks.
Just walk in the morning, walk at night or whatever, huh?
Yeah. And that counts.
Yeah, 100%.
And so you don't think that, 2 workouts a day, that's bad for the body. I'm not doing 75 hard.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know if workout is the right term. Physical activity. Right. Because walking is something that is, I mean, dude, human beings have been walking across the Arctic tundra since the beginning of mankind, carrying babies and carrying your house and like everything else that you own. Like we're nomadic. That was part of being a human being, is getting up and walking all day, every day.
Oh, and hunting.
Yeah.
And
like
carrying stuff out of the cliffs and woods and yeah.
And so like, don't tell yourself exactly like, oh, it's just too daunting. Dial it up when you need to, dial it down when you need to, but just focus on movement. Movement is shown to be like, I know we've talked about active recovery a lot in our group text. And this isn't just like, oh, hey, these guys are worried about being athletes and they're talking about active recovery. Like you can go to you talk to doctors about it now.
Yeah.
Like they are less likely to splint things. They're less likely to immobilize things. Obviously, if there's breaks, whatever, right? Yeah. But what they're finding is the more movement that the part of the body gets, the more blood flow it gets, the more nutrients it gets, the faster it heals. Like, remember when Zach broke his arm? They didn't even cast it up.
Yeah.
Just, we don't cast broken humeruses anymore. Just let it hang. What?
Wait, what?
Yeah, right? But one of the most fascinating things for me over the course of the last 75 days, again, knock on wood, right? I am pain-free.
74.
Yeah, that's right. Don't count your chickens before they've hatched. But I'm pain-free.
That's amazing.
I don't remember the last time I've been pain-free.
Dude, ever since I've known you, we've been talking about like knees and different things that like stuff that we can do that's not going to exacerbate the injuries that we both already have. And like to hear you say that, it's pretty special, man.
And I honestly think it is the truth is it's a combination of everything that I've been doing for myself. Right. I think I'm on the right supplements. I'm taking BioPro, which I'm a believer in.
Right.
I'm on TRT, which I'm also a believer in, but I've been on that stuff for a long time. And I like that stuff and it makes me feel and perform better, but it's never made me 100% pain-free. And I honestly think it is just A, being very hydrated, and B, moving my body all the time.
Yeah.
I think those
movement.
Yeah, I think those two things are the key, because your body can do miracles, and it's like, okay, if I'm going to be out here doing this every single day, let's figure out a way to make it work.
Right.
And it has, man.
Yeah.
And I did the stem cells like 6 months ago on my knee too.
Yeah.
And it was funny because it was literally like 2 nights ago, me and Jenny were laying in bed and someone asked me, hey, did those stem cells work for you? And then I was like, whoa.
I hadn't thought about it.
I haven't thought about it, but I am. And Jenny goes, I haven't thought about it either. But dude, I used to walk down the stairs backwards.
Wow.
Because it was less strain on my knees. And Jenny used to say, like, our next house needs to be a single story house.
Right.
Because that's what you do when you get old, right?
Right.
And I was like, I never want that to be me.
When you posted the other day on Instagram, like, backwards walk up a hill.
Yeah.
Yeah. You had your little short shorts on.
I got them on right now.
Explosive quads. If you've ever seen Greg Anderson's quads, geez Louise.
No, but I mean, and that's also, what's his name? Ben Patrick, the knees over toe guys.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever looked into him at all? I mean, I don't know his exact story, but he was like a good athlete. Basketball was his sport. And he went through some catastrophic knee injuries. I think he blew his ACL and stuff. And they were, the doomsday doctors basically,
right.
You're done, and he's like, I'll show you I'm done.
Right.
And he built this program to rehabilitate his knees to where he was, because you know what they say, you'll never gain past this range of motion. And if you can do this, that's going to be your, as far as you can heal and all the stuff that doctors will say. And he's exceeded everybody's expectations. And now he's pushing that program out and everybody else is finding value in it.
Wow.
And so it's a lot of his stuff is backwards work.
Uh-huh.
He does a lot of backwards sled pulls. And I'm actually buying a sled here pretty quickly to start incorporating that.
Yeah.
But I mean, it goes back to what we've been saying the whole time. It's just consistency over a long period of time. And all the rehabilitation stuff and the supplements and also, I mean, you want to go down the real woo-woo rabbit hole? Bro, like I have been manifesting and meditating, and I don't know if I even know how to meditate yet.
Right.
Like I almost want to like, hey, do a guided meditation with me so I can see if I'm doing it right or wrong, right?
Legit, totally.
But I'm telling myself positive things. I'm preaching, I'm like speaking wealth into my future. I'm speaking love into my future. I'm speaking prosperity. I'm speaking health. And I think about all these things and I can feel it changing. I mean, I told you last night, I was like, dude, my dream house, it's
right.
It's already mine. And it's like, and I text a picture to Andy Frisella and he goes, that house will 100% be yours one day. And Jenny's sitting next to me on the couch and she goes, dude, are we like living in a simulation? Like Andy Frisella is texting you, telling you that your dream house, he knows that it will 100% be yours. And then it kind of hit me. It's like, dude, it's not a simulation or it's not some woo woo shit.
Yeah.
Your life is whatever you make it, And like part of this program is like, for me, it's centered around like self-belief and trajectory and taking this next step as a man. And I think they're all intertwined, right? Because like, I mean, it could be a whole other podcast in itself, but like we're both on a similar journey where we're in our 40s. We're not going to work for another man. We're not going to be told what to do. But at the same time, we're not done trying to win and expand and figure out what the future holds. And all of these thoughts and emotions became exasperated on this program.
Yeah.
And did you find that to be, I mean, you had to have, because you started having these new visions for business and new goals and aspirations. Do you think it was all tied together?
No, well, so the last podcast that we did together, I talked about a life pivot and abandoning the career that I built for myself over the course of the last 20 some years. But that actually, that spark came probably 2019, I think, is when that thought started. So 75 Hard didn't play a factor in the decision to do a life pivot, but it made it clear to me, because I literally, so I did 75 Hard from beginning of October to mid-December of last year, and like the second week of January is when I wigged out and told my wife, we're done. We are, we're no longer going to be custom home builders. Let's go do something else. I'm done. And, so maybe 75 did put the last nail in the coffin on that and gave me the, not courage, but, what's the word I'm looking for? But it basically
kind of the catalyst.
It's just the last thing that just prompted me to go, look, dude, you're doing a lot of life change stuff right now. You're in a really good headspace. You're in a really good physical space. Time is now. Make the commitment, jump, and go. And so yeah, maybe it did. What was I gonna say? I
was just asking if you think the program was kind of the catalyst to like launch other aspects of your life in a positive trajectory.
Yeah, it well what for me what it did was it changed my day from the time I woke up until the time I went to bed. It changed how I operate, how I move through the day. The stuff that stuck with me was getting up at 5 a.m. every day, drinking a bunch of water before 7. Like I had a half gallon of water in me before 7 a.m. most days. And
most Americans are chronically dehydrated.
Yeah.
You know?
What it did is it changed my daily, just my MO for the day, where everything began. Like the first 2 hours of my day on 75 hard were different than before I started the program. And now that first 2 hours of my day is the same every day. That part I didn't walk away from.
And when you did phase 1, does phase 1 incorporate the power list, right?
Yeah. And so the power list is the biggest adult life change that I've ever experienced.
Well, and I'm not there yet. I haven't even put energy into that because I got different shit in front of me.
Right.
But like Andy, I was listening to him talk about the power list the other day on my walk, and he's like, dude, everybody thinks like these, what does everybody say about being a successful entrepreneur? Like, I burn the candle at both ends. I'll sleep when I'm dead. And like there's this whole thing around just like working as hard as you can. Right. And that's the key to success. And he's like, well, really you can work as hard as you can, but if you're not putting your energy into the right things,
right,
it's never going to build the path to success.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, the truth is, he's like, there's days I'm done by noon and I fuck off the rest of the day. Mm-hmm. But he goes, it's because I say, hey, these are the 5 things that must get done today. And if I get it done by noon, or if it takes me until midnight, that's my day.
Yeah.
And it sounds like that has led him to the path to success is simply putting goals out there each and every morning and making sure you complete them before you go to bed.
So I never journaled, never wrote anything down. And when I did phase 1, I recognized really fast, like I gotta have a journal because I gotta have that power list in front of me. And I got to carry it around with me. I got the little elastic strap where you close the thing up, and it just like it's tattered because I'm shoving it in a bag or in my back pocket or in the front of my pants if I'm holding something or whatever. And it's on me all the time. And I had to keep my power list there in front of me. And one of the things that I did was I would get up. I would go jump on the scale. Again, not that the scale mattered, but I wanted to track something, and I wanted the discipline of getting up in the morning and doing the same thing. Mm-hmm. Because even though it's just mundane and routine, it gave me information about what's going on in my life. And so I would jump on the scale. At the top of the page, I would write my weight for the day, and I would write the weight change. So if I dropped 0.2 pounds or whatever from the day before, and then I would have my power list, and then at the bottom I would have So I knew like, okay, this is the stuff I got going on today. I got to do these things.
Well, I got a question about the power list before you go on though,
Okay,
because you said you have your power list, but what does that mean exactly? Like, do you write a list of things out the night before, or is it like first thing when you wake up? Like, or is it the same thing every day? Like, how do you construct that?
So for me, the power list are two things. Two types of things. One is something that you need to do every day that's not habit yet, that's moving your family forward, that's moving your business forward, that's moving your lifestyle forward. I got to do this one thing, and I've been neglecting it. It needs to become habit, so it's on the power list every day, or on the critical task list every day. Others were, I gotta call this one guy. I've been putting it off because I don't really want to deal with the thing that I got to talk to him about. It's on the list, and it's going to get checked off by the end of the day. So it was a combination of things that I wanted to become habit in my life and things that I just had, like, quit being a loser and do this thing that has needed to be done for days or weeks. And so
that's weird that we have that inside of us. Because we all have it. It's like, I know I need to get this done.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to procrastinate on it for whatever reason. Because it might be an uncomfortable conversation.
And that's what it was for me. It was like, because I'm a custom home builder, and whether it was a warranty claim or it was something that I didn't feel like was my responsibility, but I'm going to take the high road and handle it for my client or whatever. And it's like, God, I really don't want to do that. That job is like 45 minutes from my house, and I got to go up and adjust one frickin' cabinet hinge.
Yeah.
Something like that. That was just a wild example, but.
So would you set all of these the night before you go to bed? Is that how you would construct these usually?
Well, sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes it would be first thing in the morning, and sometimes it would be, if I'm moving through my day, and I thought of something like, oh, geez.
Oh, write that down.
I got to get that done, and I'm going to write it down, and it's going to become one of my critical tasks for today.
Okay.
Yeah. That act of doing that for 30 straight days, life-changing.
See, dude, I'm excited. I
still carry my journal around. I did phase 1, 6 months ago or something.
Uh-huh.
And I still write my tasks down. My daughter has a small business. She's 16. She's got a little, a couple of maker type machines that she does cards and jewelry and all these different things. And
dude, the stuff you know what? Give her a shout out, because the stuff that she does it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
16-year-old girl, entrepreneur heart, and is already like, I mean, I saw some of the things that she makes, and I was like, oh, this isn't my buddy's daughter that's just like, oh, hey, let's support her. It's like, it's legit.
Yeah. Macy Co. Designs.
Okay.
I'll put it on Instagram,
and I'll put it in the show notes too. So if you want to support a young entrepreneur that is really doing cool stuff, and that's kind of like, that in itself is worth supporting. But the other side of it is, it's like, her stuff is beautiful. It's high quality. Like, she's taking it serious.
Yeah.
You know?
So, well, as a parent of a 16-year-old daughter, I mean, you're almost there. You're getting closer.
Yeah.
You'll find that, puberty and life, a lot of stuff changes in a young girl, and keeping her on track and keeping her focused on her business is like literally a daily thing for me, and trying to help her and not be the overbearing dad and like, no, you're making me do this because this is what you do and stuff like that. And I'm like, no, this is for you. And so one of the things that we've done since I did phase 1 is I bought journals, and I just said, what color do you want? Because I'm taking black and gray. You can have any other color, any other colors. But I bought this big multi-pack, and I just said, we're doing this together. We're every single day, we're going to write down all the stuff that we need to do for the day. And it could be as simple for her as fulfilling orders she got the day before.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine. You're writing something down that you got to do. You're checking it off your list. And then I've gone the extra mile with her, and I've just said, okay, so here's the deal. I want you to have like one thing a week that you're creating that's brand new for your business that you haven't come out with yet. One thing a week, and it's got to be on there. And so there's things on her power list that don't get done. If she checks off 3 to 5 things, I think that's a good day. But the list might be 8 things long. So those things that don't get done, move over
Go to the next day. Okay.
Yeah. And so if one of her goals is to do a new creative item that she can sell per week. So if it doesn't get done on Monday, it gets transferred to Tuesday's critical task list.
Dude, that's that's 52 new products a year.
Yeah. Well, we're still working on being successful every week.
Yeah.
But, and, like I said, she's 16 and 16-year-olds, want to go screw off with their friends, and I don't blame her, and stuff. But
bro, when I look at who she is as a person, and then I compare 16-year-old Greg Anderson, it's like, dude, she is.
My wife, Jamie, says that to me all the time. Like, hey, sometimes you're pushing a little hard, like with her and stuff. And what were you like? What were you doing when you were 16?
Yeah, I was skateboarding, drinking beer, chasing girls, just being an idiot, like failing classes. I think that was the year I had to do summer school, and it's like.
My response to me, to my wife, and every time she says that is because I know my daughter and I know what she's capable of. She is a special human being. Sorry, I'm getting a little choked up.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that my son's autistic. He's 2 years younger than her, and she has been the most instrumental in his growth and development, maybe besides Jamie and I, but in his early years, way more than any of his specialists, any of his tutors, any of his teachers, any of his in-home care people. Like, she was the one. And so fast forward to 16, I'm looking at her and I'm like, you're capable of so much more than you even know in your life, because I see someone inside you that is capable of so much. And so I'm like, of course I'm going to push her. I don't push my son like this. He's not starting new businesses. He may spend half the day looking at chairlift videos on YouTube, and I don't want to fight. I don't want to say, hey, Max, go jump on the trampoline for 15 minutes, get some movement going, because it might start a giant fight. But I do push my daughter.
Well, and that just comes regardless to Max's ailments, like just knowing your kids and understanding what they're capable of. And when I say like you're pushing Macy, I don't say that with any negative connotations.
Right.
Like, I think that's a good thing, like I would have, and I don't have any complaints with my parents. Like I had a good upbringing. I have good relationships with them, but they also, my dad was an entrepreneur. He was a go-getter. He understood how to win, and watching him taught me a lot. But they also kind of let me do my thing and let me figure it out, Right. And that's just, everybody learns to parent as they're parenting. There is no I shouldn't say there's no guidebooks, because there probably is now, but you know what I'm saying, right? Yeah. It's a journey that for everybody, it's like, okay, what's the best path? And so, in the 80s, parents weren't doing those type of things for their kids. That just wasn't how parenting really worked, For me, it was a lot of trial and error and kind of figuring it out. And my dad, it was that kind of hard approach to parenting, where they'll give you enough rope to hang yourself,
right.
And could I do better than that? Well, I would hope so. I've actually had talks with my mom where I was like, I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to do this. And she's kind of taken offense to it. Like, well, you turned out just fine, didn't you? And it's like, Mom, listen, my goal should be to be a better parent than you were. And I hope my kids are better parents than I was.
Exactly.
Like, that's the process.
Yeah.
And so it's nothing negative.
Right.
But
just
we should
progress.
Yeah, progress.
Yeah.
And we are literally, it's kind of weird to think about, but your children are literally you. That's your legacy that continues.
Yeah.
So how do we, just like 75 Hard is building you, dude, all of these parenting techniques that we're trying to hone and figure out, and is this good, is this bad? That's kind of also building you in a different manner, you know?
Yeah. Well, and I talk about modeling a lot, not like runway modeling, but
you could do that too.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to.
You used to be a professional wakeboarder, right?
How does that compare to modeling?
Because like, I don't know, magazines, photo shoots, all that shit. The sun glistening off your wet skin.
Jeez. So we're going to talk about that video where everybody called us gay for doing an ice bath. No, I talk about modeling in that, like, somebody says, "Oh, hey, you're such a good dad in this way," and a lot of times I'll say it was modeled really well for me. I have an incredible human being as a father, and so I already have a leg up on everybody because it was modeled well for me. And you know my dad, and you love my dad, and he's kind of adopted you.
He's modeling for me too now.
Yeah.
And for me, it's very good because like my father figure, my whole life was my dad actual, you know, but I lost him in 2015. And now your dad has stepped in and filled that void.
Yeah.
You know, and it's very interesting for me how our family dynamics intertwine because I get that void filled from your dad, and then I filled that void for your nephews in a way.
Yep.
And it's like we're all intertwined in this together, giving but also receiving, you know? But and I'll show you the Father's Day card that I got. Dude, just saying it chokes me up. But I want to show it to you that the boys gave me this year.
Oh, right on.
But your dad is very different in the way that he navigates the world from my dad. It's a lot more faith-based. It's a lot more compassion-based. And my dad was a good man, but he was a wild motherfucker, you know? And like, I feel like your dad's energy came into my life at the right time.
Yeah.
Because now I can see like, oh, okay, this is how a man that's led a very successful life, raised a great family, and is still like very present and involved. Like, your guys' family is very unique. A lot of families, I mean, most families are broken, you know, and I don't even say that necessarily in a negative way. It's like you do life. Like I'll go 6 months without talking to my sister. And it's like your guys' family has been able to very effectively keep like a strong family bond. And bro, I think that's important. You know, I strive, I want to have that in my family when I'm Papa's age.
Right.
I hope that not only my children, but both like Zach, Levi, and Gwen are like still part of whatever this thing that we're sharing together.
Sure.
It's powerful, you know?
Yeah. Well, so I guess that is one thing that I want to talk to you about today is how 75 Hard it's a program you set out to do to take care of yourself, to become a better person. But rising tides lift all boats. And what I didn't expect was my daughter having a power list. My wife doing a morning walk with me every day. Things began to change for other people around you when you dedicate 75 straight days to becoming a better human every single day. You lift your tribe. You lift the people around you. They start making positive changes, whether it was intended or not. It just begins to naturally happen. And so for somebody that hasn't done it and they look back and they go, oh, so it's a weight loss program, or it's a personal development program that instills so much discipline in you and so much drive in you that people around you are changing. That's not a weight loss program.
Yeah,
That's not a fitness challenge. That is it. That is a personal excellence thing that works. If people around you are making positive changes in their life just because you're rubbing elbows with them, you're doing something right.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I didn't expect, but I've really been stoked about is like, gosh, man, I talk about it all the time too, by the way, on Instagram stuff, like doing a morning walk with my wife, getting up, going out, doing push-ups and, you know, praying, talking about whatever problems that are going on, talk about, like, we don't talk about work, but we go out and we talk about the future. Gosh, man, I can't, like, why in the world was I not doing this a long time ago? And I said that on Instagram and somebody goes, bro, because a long time ago you had young children. You can't just leave the house. I'm like, oh, good point.
Yeah, but it's like jiu-jitsu, man. Every single person that starts jiu-jitsu on my team, every single one will tell me, man, I wish I started this earlier.
Right.
I didn't know about this. And I always say, you don't know what you don't know. And there, guess what? As we sit here right now, there are some other tools and some other avenues and some other things that we could do that would dramatically improve the trajectory of our life. We don't know them yet.
Yeah.
But once you're on the path, you're looking for them.
Yeah.
And you're trying to implement them, you know? You know, I go back and forth on the morning walks because on one hand, I love getting outside, being up for sunrise, getting the sun on my face and like through my eyes, like
all that ancestral living
all the
stuff
that we talk about. But I also like it being me time.
Yeah.
And I go back and forth. I will listen to podcasts on just basically like current event stuff.
Yeah.
You know, this is my hour to kind of consume what's going on in the world, right? And then some days I'll just put like healing frequencies, where it's like there's you can go to Apple iTunes and type in like healing meditation frequencies or Om therapy.
Wow.
And I'll just have these sounds going into my brain for 45 minutes. And bro, I don't know what's going on in there, but you feel the power from it.
Huh.
And then Jenny has come with me every once in a while, and she'll always be like, is it okay if I join you today? Because I know you're kind of like in your routine. And I'm obviously, yeah, of course it's okay, you know, but it's also, then it's a different experience. Now it's about her and I starting our day together and talking and connecting, and it's very different. And I know Angie's talked about that a lot too, like, cause she's experienced both sides of that. Like sometimes me time, some solitude, it's actually very powerful.
Yeah.
You know? And so, yeah, I want to continue doing this too, but I think kind of mixing it all up, incorporating walks with other people, doing the solo stuff, doing the meditation stuff, all of it, you know, it's all part of the journey.
Yeah. It's weird for me as a really active dude and like kind of an adrenaline junkie to say, I love my morning walks. Am I just showing my age by saying that? But dude, when that switch that happened, it's been almost a year now. It'll be a year in October, but it's something I'm never going to change. I love it.
Bro,
I did
it's not showing your age.
30 inches of snow.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a point early January, I was done with the program and we got like one of those 100-year storms in Ellensburg, dumped 30 inches of snow on top of snow we already had. And I got up and, dude, talk about a perfect example of why you didn't have to do your morning walk that morning. Nope. Jamie, get up. We got a mountain of snow to deal with when we get back.
I bet you kind of liked it though, right?
Oh, it took us our 45-minute walk, we've got this, so we walk through the Central Washington University campus and then go back home, and it's about, you know, depending on how many push-ups and how much deviation.
Is that where you see all the college kids staring at their phone, afraid to say hello to you?
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. And it takes 47 minutes on average to do that. That morning, I think it took us like an hour and 15 because it was like literally high stepping every single step.
Have you noticed, let's take it down more of the woo-woo path. Like, and I know you're a very faith-based person, and every day I feel like I'm becoming more understanding of like the spiritual side of my life. Mm-hmm. But as everything else starts to come together through the program, man, shit outside of my control is now coming together. And it's like the new gym's getting built now.
Yeah.
I got my firearm range done. Like Mike Glover's like,
Right.
hey, I want to book your range. What? The most sought after firearms instructor in the country. And he sold it out almost instantly. And then he wrote me and goes, bro, I want to get on your books for as much as you'll have me out there. And it's like, and then I got a new business partner. I don't know if my buddy Folk bought out one of the partners. And he started this new training company out there. We're offering courses. The gym continues to grow. Like I can just feel momentum in other aspects of my life starting to pick up speed on things that are completely outside of anything that I have control over.
It's that lifting, or that the rising tide lifting all boats. Man.
Yeah.
Like there's an energy that comes with the momentum in this program that people feel it.
It's
whether it's subliminal or not. People feel it. People begin to change. I mean, your family begins to make changes, make good choices, all that stuff. And then, but I think the people around you do too. And I think that stuff happens naturally when there's that energy. There's you're feeling good. Things are happening. You're quick to make good decisions, and that starts to wear off on people.
Yeah,
and it starts to affect other things in your life. And since we did the last podcast, so talking about the life pivot, I've had a couple of big roadblocks with what's next, and people are like, well, what are you going to do? And I'm like, I don't know. This winter is going to be pretty cold in terms of income.
Winter of death.
Yeah. And it's wild because they're like, well, are you stressed out about it? And I'm like,
no,
I'm not. I'm not stressed because every other aspect of my life is running at 100%. It will get figured out.
Bro, to me, that's probably the biggest takeaway. It puts you in a mindset where you're not living in fear anymore.
Yeah.
And like, once you have control of all these different aspects of your life, it's like, okay, I got this. Like I'll figure this out. I'm going to make this work. And I think a lot of people are constantly living in a state that's the complete opposite of that. Fuck, what's tomorrow going to bring?
Right.
How am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? How am I going to do this? And so it's like,
tomorrow's not going to get any better by worrying about it.
Yeah.
And so tomorrow is going to get better if you begin to naturally do things where the default outcome is a positive one. So if you're doing things like, let's say 75 hard, you're doing all these things throughout your day that cause positive outcomes, that's just going to naturally become the MO for your life. There's going to be positive outcomes coming from even the stressful situations where you decided not to fear and you decided not to panic or get worried about stuff. It's funny because like I'm a Christian and I read the Bible, and the Bible talks about that all the time. Cast your cares on him. Do not fear. And it's like, well, yeah, it makes sense, but nobody follows it.
Yeah.
I do marriage counseling. My wife and I see a counselor. We don't see a counselor because our marriage is in jeopardy. We see one because we change the oil in our cars. We do general maintenance so that everything's always running perfectly. And one of the things that is always coming up in counseling, we do a emotionally focused therapy is what it's called. And so the two emotional drivers are fear and sadness. And whether you want to say, oh, I don't have an ounce of fear in my life. Well, you do. You've got healthy fear. You say, hey, daughter, don't go too close to the edge of that cliff. I don't want you falling off.
Yeah, of course.
Those are healthy fear decisions. And being wise, I guess, is a better way of putting it. But those emotions are driving our lifestyle, even in the background.
100%.
When we're not thinking about things like, oh man, what's going to happen? Well, that it doesn't always have to be like in the forefront. Those are the two drivers for your decision making. fear and sadness. And when they're put together is when you really kind of screw it up. But
well, and dude, the book I'm reading right now, it talks about how exactly that. The Urban Monk talks about how fear and sadness and the things that really captivate you and make you fixate on them, it's because, 5,000 years ago or whatever, if there was a saber-toothed cat tracking you while you're out hunting, that requires 100% of your focus.
Right.
This is scary. This is a problem. I have to be fixated on it. I have to have solutions. I have to be prepared, right?
Right.
But as soon as that encounter's done, okay, now let's do the bonfire at the village and cook the whatever and like do the thing, right?
Yeah.
But in today's world, they figured out how to use the human being's like desire to fixate on fear and sadness. And now it's controlling almost every aspect of our society.
Right.
That's why the news, people get sucked into their phones, and I'm as guilty of it as anyone, get sucked into their television, and it's all a bunch of fear-based propaganda.
100%.
And it's hard to break that cycle because there's a part of your brain that wants to attach to that because, dude, if something's scary, I need to know. Oh, a bunch of people are dying, I need to know. But the thing is like your need to know was based on survivability. It's not based on survivability anymore. It's just how our brains want to fixate on negative things.
Yeah.
And it's like, now it's up to us to try and break that fucking cycle, you know?
Yeah. And that's what part of the program does, is it changes the way you think and go about your day and go about the tasks that you've got laid out for you. And as soon as you do one day, oh, I got all that stuff done.
Yeah.
And then the next day, oh, I got all that stuff done. Now it becomes systematic. Success becomes systematic.
Yeah.
You go, oh, okay. And then if something new is presented to you, that's a challenge. Now your default mechanism isn't fear. It's success. Like, oh, well, I figured out how to do every other thing that I got going on right now. What's going to stop me from figuring this out? You don't think that, but subliminally and subconsciously, your brain and your body goes into that.
For sure.
Because you just go, no, this is what I do. I do hard things, and I figure out how to get them done, and I do them,
and I succeed.
Find success. Yeah.
No, man, if you would have asked me, like, do I think 75 Hard will impact my marriage? I mean, I would probably have said, well, yeah, it'll probably benefit for these reasons or whatever. Right. But kind of what you said a couple minutes ago about how there's an energy that starts to change, right? Yeah. And it goes back to that story about just randomly picking up that emotional intelligence book, right? Was that by design? Was I supposed to read that book? Because I'm telling you, that book changed my marriage for sure. There are things about me that I'm not proud of that sure, like on a surface level, they seem kind of funny, or like, for me, like road rage.
Yeah.
I'm ready to fuck someone up over nothing. Right. And I've been in the car before where I'm like, pull over, motherfucker, pull over. And the kids are in the back like, Dad, stop. And it's like, that sounds like tough guy shit. It's kind of funny to talk about on a podcast. But in all reality, what am I doing?
You're letting go of control.
Control. That's exactly what I'm doing. Yeah. And that book broke down how anger makes you lose the ability to control on a physiological level.
Right.
It's like the senses input to this part of the brain first. This is the reactive part. This is the fight or flight. Then the signals have to travel to this part of the brain. That's the rational brain.
Yeah.
You have to build the neural pathways to the rational brain through exercising them.
Yeah.
And what it does, and dude, it's physiology. This isn't fucking crazy woo-woo shit. The more you exercise that, the faster you can go from a stressful incident occurring to a logical thought process that is solution-based, as opposed to that initial, letting that control you, right?
Right.
And dude, I've changed how I react to stress, because I mean, my whole life, like being living the lifestyle that I lived, like default aggressive violence, that's how I lived for a long time. And that not only was a recipe for success, but that was also kind of bred into us. As young Rangers, it's like we attack problems with speed, surprise, and violence of action. You can't attack problems with speed, surprise, and violence of action on I-5 in downtown Seattle.
Right.
You know?
Well, you can. It just doesn't usually end well.
Yeah, you'll probably end up in a cage somewhere.
Right.
And learning to deal with my emotions as a result of reading that book, as a result of shaking Levi's hand to do 75 hard, or you can ask Jenny, I have a better grasp on controlling who I am as a man.
Yeah. And
it was all part of the momentum that started by just shaking Levi's hand and saying, you know what, I'll do the program with you.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't have written this out if I tried at the time.
Yeah.
And so like, what book am I going to pick up next? What little nugget is going to make me reflect and look in the mirror and be like, bro, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
Is that necessary? And it's like, that's what's really made me buy off on this. And that's why, like, I mean, I made a post this morning that's like, this program wasn't about getting a six pack. Did that happen? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's a byproduct of doing everything else to the best of your ability is going to be a physically fit, strong body. But that's the fucking least impactful change in my life, dude.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the only thing where you can point to a tangible thing that changed and show people. It's really hard to show them unless they live with you the what's really happening. The real benefit from the program is what we're talking about. All the different life stuff that's beginning to change. Like I was thinking while you were talking, I was thinking about putting yourself in someone else's shoes. So it's really easy to get spooled up on current events, and somebody says something stupid and you get upset about it. And then one of the things that maybe it was 75 hard, maybe it was just me getting older and more mature, but you begin to go, well, when's the last time you said something really stupid? When was the last time you went, oh yeah, okay, that I can't come down too hard on that person because I got skeletons in my own closet. And just this, it begins to change the way you think and the way you process life. And you go, you know what, I'm going to give that guy a little bit of grace because I was a dipshit one time and I did some stupid stuff and people forgave me. And now I'm a better person because I learned from it. I'm going to be real careful with casting judgment.
Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe it's the goes back to like you're just automatically going through to your day being successful and getting all these things done, and now success and flourishing is just the default thing that's happening throughout your day. Maybe that's causing it. I don't know. But
well, and another thing that's like, being a 75 hard podcast, Andy's name's going to come up a lot in this, right? But he talks about how like the more you start to win in life, the more inevitably you want to build others up and see them win.
Yeah.
And it's a mindset of abundance as opposed to a mindset of scarcity. And I think it's kind of all encompassing, right? Because it could be, he talks about like business rivals, other companies that are technically his rival. Bro, he wants to see him win.
Yeah.
Because if they're winning, that means the industry is winning. And that means he has stiff competition to make him become better. Right?
Tide lifts all boats.
Exactly. Yeah. And so like, it's kind of all encompassing. It's like you see someone that is behaving in a manner that's kind of, it's not congruent with who you are, or they're saying things that you don't agree with. Like, you know what? If we approach this with a certain type of energy and you treat that person a certain way, dude, we all win.
Yeah.
As opposed to, I say something mean to you, I feel good about myself, I tore you down a little bit, I'm the victor. Like, it's just not a sustainable path for success,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think like, you can say is like, are we just getting older and is this wisdom? But I think this is part of the path for people that want to take their life to the next level.
Yeah.
You know, because you have to understand we all are sharing this experience. And don't get me wrong, there's still people that like deserve to be beheaded in the streets. Like,
Right.
that's always going to be inside of me, right? But I think building your community up and creating a circle of people where like, yeah, we don't all have to agree. We don't all have to be on the same page, but we're all on this positive trajectory. And that's where this whole fucking thing comes from.
Yeah.
Personal excellence is the ultimate rebellion, you know?
So let's spin that conversation off into a question I got for you, and that's accountability through the program. There are people in your life that know you're doing the program, that are watching. There are people that get involved. There are people who have experienced it before, and so know how to talk to you while you're on the program. How did accountability, what did accountability look like for you through this whole thing? And how much did accountability improve or whatever your experience?
I think for me, the accountability, the biggest, the foundational pillar of the accountability was me telling Levi I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
So right there, hey, I gave you my word. And when you give your word to a young man who like
Looks up to you.
looks up to me,
Yeah.
I would rather die than not follow through with that.
Right.
That doesn't mean I couldn't have failed. You know what I mean? But
Sure.
but there was a high amount of importance on it. Also, I used the internet as an accountability tool.
Mm-hmm.
And the internet can be a dark cesspool of disgusting bullshit. Or dude, I have personally changed lives by doing what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
So the internet can be a beautiful thing too.
Yeah.
And so I put it out there and I say, hey, these are my goals. This is what I'm doing. I share, you know, it's not every single day, but I allow this journey that I'm on to be shared with people that are interested in having this journey shared with them. Sure. And to me, that's an accountability tool too, because it's like, I always say on my podcast, I'm not your guru. I'm not the guy that's going to tell you how to succeed. I'm a guy trying to succeed with you. Right. I'm on this journey. Most of the people that listen to this show, man, we're all on the same journey.
Right.
We're trying to get from point A to point B and be a better version of ourselves. I just happen to be the guy that has a show that's doing pretty well and get to share my journey with more people than other people do.
Sure.
And when I know other people have eyes on me and it inspires them and it makes them want to be better,
makes you want to be
better. I almost use the word burden, and maybe it is, but it's a good burden. Right. Sometimes burdens are good, right? It's like, know
the whole program is
a burden.
Be honest,
yeah, that's
a burden.
Right.
Yeah.
But if I know that, okay, me succeeding at this is going to inspire somebody somewhere to also become a better version of themselves, that is a huge accountability tool for me.
Yeah. Because
I know that, like, man, that's important. And I've talked about on the show before, like my favorite emails that I get, I love hearing from people that are like, dude, I started jiu-jitsu 2 years ago because of you, and I'm down 100 pounds. And I love those emails.
Yeah.
They're powerful, right? Mm-hmm. But you know what I love even better than those? And I've only got a handful of these, is emails from spouses.
Oh, yeah, yeah. We talked about that a little bit last time we did this, yeah.
And it's like, hey, my husband is a fan of yours and blah, blah, blah. And because of this, he started that. And our marriage is the best it's ever been. And it's like, whoa.
And I just wanted to reach out and say thank you.
Dude, one person that is doing something has the ability to influence one other person.
Right.
And to think that you don't, you're telling yourself a lie. And that's why I think it's important for everybody that is chasing, and it doesn't have to be 75 hard, it can be anything. But if you're chasing something that's going to make you be a better person, man, share it with your people. Talk about it. Be open about it. Be vulnerable about it. Because if you're overweight right now and you're like, you know what, this is the year that I change and I'm going to implement this diet and this routine. Guess what? There are other people that are in your shoes right now that'll see that, and that gives them strength too.
Right.
And bro, I think we're all somehow connected, like collectively through energy. you know, and it goes back. You've said it 3 or 4 times, like rising tides lift all ships, right?
Yeah.
And some people you're not connected to. Some people you're the opposite. There are people I walk by in the grocery store and I'm just like,
we are not the same.
Get the fuck away from me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what's inside that person, but I don't want to be anywhere near it.
Yeah.
And then there's other people that it's like, you and I are supposed to be friends and I don't even know why.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I experienced that this summer, man. The guy's camping next to me. I was like, man, if we were neighbors, we would have, our street would be the coolest to live on.
And so you need to embrace the fact that some people's wavelengths are on the same frequency as ours. And dude, build each other up, you know?
Yeah.
And when I see someone, like, they write me an email that's like, hey, I started I get a lot of people say they started the steak, eggs, and apples diet.
Oh, really?
And it's like, dude, I didn't start that diet because I wanted to help people. I started that diet because I fail without rigid rule sets.
Right.
And so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to give myself really no options because I know that'll be a path for success for me.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people saw like, oh, that worked for Greg. I'm going to try that.
Right.
And it's like, dude, it's cool.
Now you got to name it and have a logo.
Yeah. I thought about writing the steak, eggs, and apples book.
Yeah.
And it'll be like 300 pages. They're blank. You can use it to journal.
Yeah.
And it'll be 1 page and it'll say, eat these 3 foods. Steak, eggs, and apples.
Right.
But dude, the funny thing about that is like, and I'm not even necessarily saying this with a negative connotation because I love the fact that people hear what I have to say and they want to challenge themselves as a result. But I still get messages all the time that's like, well, dude, how many grams of protein are you eating? Bro, I don't fucking count protein.
Who knows? Yeah.
Dude, how many apples a day do you allow yourself? I don't count. I don't care.
Right.
Like, everybody wants more. And sometimes less is more.
Yeah.
Like, I don't give a shit how many macros I intake. If I'm hungry, I eat. If I'm full, I don't.
Well, quite frankly, the complexity pushes people away from making good decisions. Like,
that's why I don't do well.
Baby steps, man. Just change one thing at a time.
And you know, there are lots of people that weigh their food and they make 40 Tupperwares on Sunday night.
Right.
And they're phenomenal athletes and they look great and they feel great. And those are the things. If you look good and you feel good, whatever you're doing, keep doing that, right? No one's here to tell you what you should do. But if you want to change and having 40 Tupperwares of food seems like a daunting task, dude, maybe it's not for you. Now, don't be averse to everything that comes with a little bit of discomfort, right? But at the same time, I've tried to do that before. Where I bring like, okay, I'm going to have 2 cans of tuna at noon and then like this and this and this and 5 meals a day and this many grams and this is my macro split. And bro, it's just not me.
Yeah.
You know, you got to figure out what works for you and what doesn't. And for me, less is more. And I remember I've talked about it on the show several times, but there was a bodybuilder who said a quote that's like, show me the person that got fat on chicken and apples.
Right.
Because that person doesn't exist. And I thought about it. I was like,
well, it's one of the things that I've noticed. So I did whole foods only during 75 hard, and that kind of stuck. And for the most part, I've stuck with it, and I dropped some weight. And I'm not a fat guy. I'm, pretty thin, but I leaned it out when I did 75, and I just kept eating whole foods. And it was funny because I wouldn't put any limits on it. I might eat 15 pounds of pistachio nuts.
Yeah.
But because I was eating whole foods and I was just eating raw stuff, I kept the weight off. And I would go literally like, I'd be in the kitchen at 10 o'clock at night, and there'd be a big vat of blueberries in the kitchen, in the refrigerator. And I'd pull that out and I'm just going to have a couple blueberries. Next thing you know, the whole thing's gone.
Bro, I'm the same person.
Yeah. And it's like, nobody got fat off eating a whole vat of blueberries before they went to bed.
No, man.
Yeah.
No, like I was laying in bed and we were watching a documentary the other night, Last Breath. Did I tell you about that yet?
You texted that to me.
Did you watch it?
I haven't yet.
Okay, we're not going to talk about it then.
Okay.
But if you're listening, go to Netflix, watch Last Breath, and do not Google anything about it. You don't want to have any understanding of the story or the outcome, anything. Just hit play, and it's fascinating. But same thing. I was like, man, I feel hungry tonight, but these are the 3 foods I can eat. So I ate like 5 or 6 Paleo Valley beef sticks and a couple apples. And then I got a bag of dehydrated apples because they're literally just apples that are sliced up like potato chips and dehydrated.
Taking the moisture out of them.
But guess what? It's still an apple, so it falls within my diet.
Yeah.
And I sat there eating this whole bag of apple chips and just felt gluttonous, right? But I was like, you know what? It's within the diet, and I just feel like eating right now.
Well, and you gotta mix it up a little bit. Like you get bored.
But I woke up looking better because, dude, sometimes like. Here's the thing about listening to your body. On one hand, if I listened to my body, I'd eat a large pizza every night, right? So you can't just listen to your body.
Right.
But once you're in very good tune with your body, sometimes when it's like, man, I need more carbohydrates today.
Right.
That can be a good thing. And then you wake up feeling better and looking better. And sometimes like maybe your body's just dying to have the glycogen replenished in the muscles. And you wake up and it's replenished. You look fuller, and you even look leaner sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay. Yeah, I stayed up and ate a bunch of apples and beef. That wasn't bad for me.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, I try not to eat past 7 or 8. But, you know.
Bro, that's my nemesis.
I know.
I love snacking in bed.
I'm just glad that I'm just glad that I finally got past like wheat thins at 9:30. After 75, I committed to no processed foods, and it's been a game changer.
Bro, a big thing for me that I've noticed is because I've been so restricted, the rest of the family isn't. And Jenny eats very good, just naturally. She does her own thing. She's mostly ketogenic diet. But because I'm eating something so different than the kids, it's like two different fucking menus in the Anderson household.
Right.
But it's made me start to look at their stuff like, what am I doing? Why am I letting my daughter eat a can of Pringles?
Oh, yeah.
Why is she eating a can of Pringles? Nothing. It's just a bunch of oils and seed oils. And like, and then like me and Jenny will talk. She's like, well, you got to let them be kids. Is being a kid eating poisonous foods, going to all the houses on Halloween and coming home with a pillowcase full of high fructose corn syrup? I don't know.
Yeah. And
it goes back to what I said. My mom used to say, well, you turned out okay. Okay. I can agree with that. And I was allowed to eat Reese's peanut butter cups and chase them down with Cokes when I was a kid.
Right. But here we are, in the U.S., we have access to the best medicine, and we have access to the healthiest stuff, and we are the sickest, fattest, sloppiest people around. And bro, same fight in my house, man. It's like I walk into the kitchen, and now it's funny because Dad's tagline is, that shit'll kill you, right?
That's the same thing I say. Yeah. I don't say it verbatim like that. I say that's poisonous.
Yeah.
Okay, you want this? We went to the gas station. You walked in and grabbed a lemonade, but let's look what's in that. There's 60 grams of sugar and it's high fructose corn syrup. That's not a lemonade. That's not what's going. It's not squeezed lemons you're drinking.
Yeah, you're
drinking poison.
Right. It's
going to rot your teeth. And the thing, all my girls are in shape, almost to a point where it's my younger two have 6-packs. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, they're not doing terrible,
right?
But at the same time, as their parent, I don't want them to not do terrible. I want them to have a body that's going to be a savage for the next 80 years.
Well, we can go down a rabbit hole too, but being a parent of an autistic child, I'm real curious as to why. Why is the autism rate in this country through the roof? They're saying, I don't remember the numbers exactly, but it's going to be by 2025 or something. It's going to be 1 in 25 kids is going to be diagnosed autistic. And so I'm looking at birth control. I'm looking at sunscreen. I'm looking at
microplastics.
I'm looking at everything that we consume is wrapped in plastic.
Yeah.
And so for me, I'm like, it's not just about you guys. It's not just about that one Monster with cream that you're drinking to my daughter. It's about the next generation. We got to figure out why our kids are in such trouble.
Bro, I listened to a podcast on autism like 2 weeks ago. And it was a doctor that was talking about this stuff. And autism affects different communities of people differently. And he said, based on current data, 1 in 2 African-American babies will be at risk of being autistic. I think he said by 2030. I might be wrong on the year. But regardless of what the year is, he's saying they're finding it to have a huge spike in African-American communities.
Why?
Yeah.
Do they know? I mean, is it some vaccine? What is it?
But as soon as you say, is it a vaccine?
Right.
Man, like you can't say that. And it's like, I'm not saying that because I hate big pharma or I want to point the finger. I'm saying that because it's fucking something. Yeah. And are we going to be honest about it? Like the Amish community, 0.
Right.
Okay. So you have some communities that are 0 and some that are increasing exponentially. You don't have to be a super intelligent person to be like, okay, something in our environment is dictating this, or something we are doing is playing a role in this. And then one thing the doctor said that's fascinating, he goes, because I'm very open about this. And I do ask, like, which vaccines, I'm looking into this because I'm trying to understand it. He goes, I get a lot of pushback from people and like, especially big pharma. And people will say, autism's always been part of humanity.
It's just diagnosed more now.
Yeah, it's just diagnosed more now.
Yeah.
And you know what he said? Show me a 75-year-old autistic male.
Right.
He goes, every time people say that to me, my rebuttal is, show me a 75-year-old autistic male.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know any personally. And he goes, that's fascinating because every time I've said that to someone as a rebuttal, that's the exact same response I've got. Right. I don't know one personally. Now show me a 10-year-old autistic male. Exactly. We can all, my next door neighbor, you.
Yep.
Like a lot of people that I know have a child that's on the spectrum. So like, fuck, man, put all your bullshit on the back burner and let's just be human beings and say, how can we be better?
Well, here's a small, really micro example of this in terms of environment. I used to get a seasonal change head cold. So, summer to fall or whatever. I'd get like 2 a year.
Yep.
I started taking cold showers. November 1st will be 3 years. I've been doing cold showers. Besides one small bout with COVID, I haven't been sick in 3 years. And
bro.
And I'm like, dude, we're talking a 3.5 to 5 minute cold shower every day. And like so my environment changed. That's one small thing. And this started 2 years before I did 75, before I really went overboard on the personal excellence thing.
No, we geeked out on the cold together.
Yeah.
Long ago.
Yeah, and it's one small environment change had an impact that, like, did I even think about it until about year 2? Holy cow, I haven't had a cold. What have I been doing differently? I didn't change my diet back then. One thing I changed, I always worked out, but I worked out while I was getting head colds too. And so started taking a cold shower, and then I got into the cold showers because it was just a few different of these little facets. Like, oh, that'd be kind of cool to try to experiment with, and mostly just mental toughness was the thing.
100%.
But what happened, where all the fallout from that was all kinds of other stuff. Like, okay, well, you just noticed now 18 to 24 months into doing this that you don't get that seasonal change head cold anymore. So something's to this, and I don't think that we give enough credit to our environment to with the stuff that we've got going on, whether it's autism or it's obesity or it's whatever. There's things going on in our environment that are different now than they were 30, 40 years ago, and we need to come correct on a bunch of stuff. I mean, I don't watch TV at all. The other night, my TV was on, and it was a baseball game because my son wanted to watch the Mariners. And I'd walk by during a commercial break. I didn't see a single commercial that wasn't Big Pharma.
Yeah.
And I noticed it. Like, I stopped. I'm like, I'm going to watch this entire commercial break. And every single commercial was Big Pharma. And I was like, dude, I haven't watched TV in years, really, but I don't remember it being quite like this. Every single commercial. And now they say that like 3/4 of the commercials on television these days are pharmaceutical commercials.
And bro, some of them are, I watched one the other night and I don't remember what it was for. So
Tell your doctor if you start bleeding out your anus
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
It was like, this medication is for a side effect from this medication.
Right.
And it's like, I looked at Jenny and said, oh, are you fucking kidding me? They're not even trying to hide it. It's like, if you were experienced blah, 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 because you were on the medication, whatever, this can diminish the effects of the side effects of this. And it's like, dude, because, we always joke, like, Western medicine doesn't treat the root cause. It just treats the symptoms.
Right.
And then you have a customer for life, right?
Sure.
Now you can go down whatever conspiratorial rabbit hole you want with that one. But the truth is, Western medicine is not built around getting people healthy. Now, Western medicine is fucking awesome for trauma.
Sure.
It's also awesome. Like, literally right now, my youngest daughter got a staph infection. And bro, we tried everything. And now she's on antibiotics. Yeah. And one day on antibiotics, it's starting to go away. So like,
well, my wife has, she had thyroid cancer 5 years ago, and she might not be able to survive without a synthetic thyroid hormone that she takes daily.
And so like, I'm the farthest away from the people that are like, fuck Western medicine. And like, I just think we need to be honest with ourselves. There's a time and a place for it, but it's not every ailment all the time, every reason. Yeah. Let thy food be thy medicine. Right. And if we would get back to that, that's how, your body is going to be comprised of what you put in it. And it's shit in, shit out, Yeah. And so like, to think that we don't have the control to really navigate our health with our environment and our nutrients, it's bizarre to me that Western medicine hasn't gotten behind that more. Yeah. Like, dude,
there's no money in it.
Dude, Sheely is one of my best friends. Have you ever hung out with Brian? Do you know him?
I haven't.
And so, dude, he is a physician. He's an ER doc, and he has been for a decade, and he's good at his job. And he said he had this couple in his office the other day that was complaining about this, complaining about that, and he was morbidly obese. And he said, I want you to eat whole foods. I want you to walk 30 minutes a day, and you need to get sun on your skin at least once a day. They filed a complaint against him.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. He said he like, anytime, I don't know exactly how it works, right? But if you have a complaint filed against you, then you have to go to some board, and then they determine if it has merit or not, right? And obviously they determined it did not have merit. He didn't get in any trouble for it.
Okay.
But bro, like, this is a doctor who's not just a doctor, he's a super athlete. Yeah. He's been a phenomenal athlete his whole life. But now he's in a position to educate people on how to make your body work better. People don't even want to hear it.
Oh my!
They were like, dude, don't tell me to get sun on my skin. Oh. And he said, and spend lots of time around the people you love. Because he's like, this dude needs a holistic approach to being better. And fuck, dude, we're so used to like, you go in here, I feel this, here's a prescription, go to the pharmacy and fill it up. Nope. He said, eat whole foods, be around people you love, and get out in the sun more. Oh, wow, what is this?
A quack.
Yeah. And so, at the end of the day, man, I feel like you can inspire and you can show and you can share your journey, but people are either going to get on the train or they're not, dude.
Going back to the accountability thing, I've asked myself that same question. Like, what was accountability? What did it look like for me? And what positive impact did it have? Did it have any, like, was there any negative impact from accountability? And I couldn't really decide if 75 Hard was just so intense that you can't bring someone along with you all the way unless they've experienced it themselves. So at the time I did it, my sister was the only one that I knew well that had completed it. And she gave me a ton of kudos along the way and encouragement along the way. But I felt almost like, and the reason why I asked you this question, that I was a little bit on an island. My wife was really supportive of me. Didn't understand why I felt like I needed to start it. Chad, you look great. You're a great dad. You're you're healthy. Well, I can be better.
Yeah. And all that stuff is true.
Yeah. But
but it shouldn't hold you back just because it's true.
Right. But I'm a huge accountability guy. I've got my circle of friends, 100% transparent with in every aspect of my life. And I've got guys around me that lift me up when I'm struggling. I've got family, like other married couples that we do life with that are the same way. And but this was a different thing. I don't know how to think about accountability doing 75 hard, because I waffled back and forth with, I need what you said about the internet is spot on. I was gonna do 75 hard quietly and not tell a soul. And the very first day my sister found out, or it was maybe 2 days in or something, and she goes, do not do it quietly. Put it out there, because when you put it out there that you completed this day, you've got to do tomorrow too.
Well, and if you're quiet about it, you can
fail quietly.
Justify failing quietly.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so,
I mean, it's like, I always say, like, cause I put my application in with Naked and Afraid before.
You did?
Oh, I have put it in a handful of times. Those motherfuckers have never called me back. But I'm like, if you just put me out in the woods and said you can go home whenever you want, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But when America watches you break and quit, I would have to die out there.
Right.
Just because it's like, man, all the people you love, all the people that know you, all the people that care about you, like, looking weak to those people, it bothers me.
Yeah.
And is that a reasonable way to live as a man? I would say yes. Because if you are a symbol of strength in your community and people look up to you and people put value and merit in who you are and what you say and what you do, to just roll over and quit in the face of adversity, it diminishes who you are.
Yeah.
And that's why every military special operations group has exactly that. We're going to make you do something really hard to see if you quit. And if you don't quit, welcome to the team. It's no different with my family. Like, if my daughters see me quit, man, how can I justify, hey, welcome to the team?
Yeah.
I'm not part of the team. I quit when I face adversity.
Yeah.
And so, like, yeah, man, putting that out there and sharing that with other people, it goes back to that collective energy thing too.
Right.
Like, good people are going to give you the positive energy to help you succeed. The naysayers are always going to be there, but fuck them. You know?
Well, that's the hard part, because I surround myself with a lot of really good people, but they're not driven in the personal excellence arena quite like I am. And so love them to death. And we do life together, but that wasn't my accountability group for 75.
Yeah.
Angie was, because
she's done it.
She's my blood sister, and she had done it, and she's crazy.
You don't say.
Yeah. And so your experience is just a little bit different than mine, though, because now you had, not only did you have Levi to honor a commitment to, but you also had
two accountability partners.
Angie and I on the same group text where we'd been there. We know, like, if you came to us and just said, today sucks, I don't know what to do, like, we would have, like, lifted you up and said, hey, here's some helpful things. Like, do you feel like we did that for you? Or
bro,
okay.
100%. I mean, you can talk to Angie in depth about this, because her and I go way back talking about this stuff. Like, she has a power inside of her to help keep her people accountable.
Yeah.
She got Jenny in phenomenal shape. Mm-hmm. Like she just has that energy to, like, kind of take the reins and really help people succeed at things.
Yeah.
And, like, that's her gift, you know? And so, yeah, having you guys on board and being that tool game changer for sure.
Yeah.
You know? And also I don't want to let you guys down, especially also knowing you guys completed it.
Right.
You know? And
because you in years prior had tried it twice and failed. Like I felt like when you committed to doing it this time around, I told Ange, I just said, there's absolutely zero chance that Greg will fail at this.
Yeah. No, third time had to be a charm, dude.
Yeah.
The one thing that I will say that is like, because everything we're saying is about like rainbows and lollipops and all the happy stuff.
Yeah.
The more I feel my momentum build and my energy shift on a new trajectory, part of the process that you will find, and I don't know if you found it, but I found it, is it's like people are either lifting you up or they're holding you back. Mm-hmm. And I've found, and this isn't just a 75 hard thing, I would say I've found this over the last 24 months as I've drastically changed the trajectory of my life.
Yeah.
Man, you got to let some people go.
Yeah.
And it's because the way that they're choosing to live their life, they might be good people. They might be funny. They might be a childhood friend, but they are holding you back, and neither one of you might even really necessarily consciously understand that.
Yeah.
But I've noticed that there's more distance between me and certain people that I care about, that I like as human beings, and I'm closer with other people. And it's because the energies are matching up with who I need to be matched up with. And bro, at the end of the day, I don't have time or energy to pour into people that it's just kind of like a frivolous or meaningless relationship.
Sure.
And bro, there's a part of me that looks in the mirror sometimes and feels bad because it's like, man, that was your childhood friend. But it's like, dude, if you're not on the path,
right,
what am I doing?
I always say you need to hang out with people that are better than you.
Exactly.
You need to spend time with older, wiser, healthier, whatever you're going for. And then spend time with them, glean things off of them. And you also need to be that person for someone else and hang out with people that are coming up behind you. But it doesn't change the fact what you said, they're on the path.
Well,
it's the people that want that, and they're like, they come to you and they're like, hey, what'd you do about this? Or I've got people, so our gym in our house is fairly well equipped, and I got people that work out. That gym gets used every single day, and I might not be in there every day, but somebody is. And we have kind of a revolving door of people who have noticed something different about the Youngquist family, want to be part of it. And so they're like, hey, can we come by and work out? And hey, whatever workout you guys just did, leave it on the whiteboard. We'll come and we'll follow. And we've had people come and do that and be like, yeah, we were just kidding about that whole, we'll follow you on the next workout. Next one, we'll do our own thing. That was way too intense. But
bro, I really liked how you articulated though. You're like, there's both ends of the spectrum, people that you're aspiring to follow in their footsteps, and then giving that good energy to other people that are aspiring to follow in your footsteps. But all those people are on the journey. It's the people that are walking the other way that you probably need to cut ties with.
Well, and you love them. You, when you see them around, you're cordial and everything's fine. But you can't have a life suck.
No.
There's people that you need to invest in. There are other people that aren't where you're at in life, and you need to be the person that it comes into their network and inspires change and positive influence and stuff. But that person also has to have some of the drive and willingness to make those changes. It's the the people that are like, oh, I can't believe you did that. What? Oh, you still doing that stupid 75 thing? Is like those people are like, yeah, no.
Or I've had some of my friends that are like, it's like Cam Haynes always says, must be nice, right?
Right.
I've had like a good friend of mine was kind of like hating on the fact that my jiu-jitsu training partners for a period of time were all the best guys in the world. And it's like, I was training with Bushesha every single night. And he is the greatest jiu-jitsu athlete of all time. And he's like, I remember we were talking about it, and he goes, bro, everything just always works out for you. I don't know how it happens, but everything always fucking works out for you. And it's like, bro, you know how far I commute every day to train with these guys?
Yeah.
Do you know how hard every practice is? Bro, things aren't just working out for me. I'm putting myself out there.
Yeah.
And it's like, but that's, you know, they see me, just my high school friend from Snohomish, Washington, trains with the best guy on the planet every night. Man, must be nice. I was like, bro, I had to move to fucking California and start a whole new life. I was broke. I was like, and then this isn't a poor me story, but it's, dude, you put the work in.
Yeah.
And if you put the work in, things start to happen. And if you don't.
Andy Frisella is a prime example. If you heard Andy Frisella's name and you're like, oh, I'm going to go see who that is, and you went and looked at his Instagram account, you would say just that, oh, must be nice.
Yeah.
Guy's got a giant garage full of Ferraris or whatever. But you get to know who Andy is and who Andy was. And the fact that, what did he say? I made $5,000 or $50,000 in the first 5 years of my entire business.
Yeah.
I went knocking on doors. I got doors slammed on my face over and over and over. And it's like, no, that guy overcame a tremendous amount of adversity and uphill battle to get to where he is. And yeah, he's living on the spoils of not just it must be nice. He's living on the spoils of I put the frickin' work in and I about killed myself doing it.
Yeah, dude.
And this is where I'm at.
So fuck, we're at 2 hours and 6 minutes. I think we could do another hour, but I got an oil change I got to get to because I'm driving to Kalispell to link up with Andy Stump.
Oh, right
on Wednesday. So yeah, I need to get the oil change before I hit that road trip. But
well, congratulations on 74 hard.
Thank you. If I fail today, I'm just gonna delete this episode and it'll never get published. But no, I appreciate you being one of my main accountability partners. The thread, again, is something that would I have succeeded without it? Probably.
Sure.
But at the same time, man, everything that you can do to stack the cards in your favor with the right people, the right energy, fucking do it.
Yep.
And you guys were a big part of that. Your family's been a big part of my success dramatically over the last couple of years.
Right on.
And I'm forever grateful for that. And it's cool that we continue to strive and partake in these challenges and these journeys and stuff.
No coasting.
Yeah, no coasting.
We're not going to coast. We're going to wake up every day and we're going to figure out ways to be better. And at the end of that day, we'll look back and go, yep, I'm better than I was this morning.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.